if we're ready, Captain, you can go ahead and start your log.
Technically not the captain.
Yeah, it's technically Cecil.
Personal log. Stardate 52203.3. We're finally en route to the crystalline planet. I've been given instructions to do everything in my power to secure a peace treaty with the enigmatic race that lives there. We're proceeding there at Warp 8, which should get us to the provided coordinates in about 3 days' time. The crew finally has some room to breathe. It's given me time to think. When a first contact mission goes as catastrophically wrong as this one, it's incredibly rare to get a second chance with the other culture. I don't want this opportunity to go to waste. There's just so much to consider. I still haven't decided who I want to bring on my diplomatic team, and there are still far too many unknowns on the side of the crystalline race. Maybe I'm just thinking about this too hard. Maybe I need to take a break to clear my mind. I wonder if one of the holodecks are open. End log.
All right, well, I guess the captain set the scene that it's going to be 3 days to get there, so, yeah.
You said a few days, so I took liberty. I know it's speed of plot, so...
Right, so yeah, so you guys have time to roleplay anything you guys would wish to roleplay.
I don't have that one prepared. So I need to pull something up.
What? Oh, what do you...
If you do go to the
Unrelated.
if you do go to the holodeck, Karen will pretty much be occupying one of them in a sort of...
The way I was going to do this is that if someone wanted to seek me out, I was going to do something in the holodeck.
Oh, okay.
So that was the way I was going to set up this scene.
Right.
Didn't the commander want to do something?
Yes, I will seek out the captain at some point in these 3 days.
Same here.
When that happened, so starting with Commander Varro, when you ask the computer where the captain is, it tells you he is on holodeck 2.
I just sigh. And I head for holodeck 2.
And you get to holodeck 2, and the holodeck doors open too.
Okay, you walk into the holodeck, and it is very dark in there. However, you're able to see bits and pieces of light around you, and from the dim litness of it, you can determine that you're in some kind of theater. Very big, lots of seats, filled with people, but the few front rows seem to be mainly empty, except for one person.
Okay. This is Varro completely out of his comfort zone. I kind of walk in, see this. Almost looks like I've hit a wall. Stands there for a couple seconds, then he heads down.
And as you walk down, you will become aware of something else that's in this theater with you, and that is music that's playing. In fact, the theater isn't actually totally dark, because the stage is brightly lit up. And on it, for those of you who recognize what I'm describing here, appears to be a bunch of random garbage that's all piled up into itself and massive, like a massive wall of just junk. And on top of this wall of junk are a bunch of people in old, old 17th century clothing, or 18th century clothing. One of them's waving a big flag around.
Jesus Christ, he's watching Les Mis.
Yeah.
And they're all singing, and it's a whole thing.
I sit down next to you, avert my eyes from the stage, and say, Captain, a moment of your time.
computer freeze program, and like the figures on the stage just like freeze mid flag wave, and they're all in a. They just stop in the middle of what they're doing. Yes, Commander?
I think it's about past time that we considered addressing the personnel on our ship more of a command fashion. We have a number of junior officers on this ship, and at that, I'll just size again. Some of them show a great degree of promise, however, and I feel a few promotions may be on the way to being deserved.
I agree. In fact, I've given that some thought myself.
A nod. There's a small issue of personal discipline. However, I believe our con officer would make an excellent lieutenant.
That he would. That he would. I, of course, have to look over his records once again and make sure that everything is in order, but I can certainly see him making a wonderful lieutenant. In fact, I've been, I wouldn't say debating with myself, but I've been considering whether or not I want to bring him along on this diplomatic mission as a measure of his readiness.
Varro winces a little bit.
And to that, like, Harmon nods. He says, "I know. It's why I'm on the fence."
I nod. And then I gesture toward the stage. What's this, sir?
Les Miserables. It's a classical show, classical musical production from the 1990s. Wait a second. Wait a second. Out of character. Doesn't that put it right in the middle of the eugenics war?
Yes.
It would.
I didn't consider that when picking this show. Shit.
Captain's a genius.
Well, could it have been right before?
Huh?
Could it have been right before the war?
We could say that.
No, I think the eugenics war was like the early 90s, like at the very end of the 80s and into the 90s was the eugenics war, and Les Mis was 1991.
True,
Well, you know,
but
people
it is
do entertainment.
adapted. It is adapted from earlier material, so we could say whatever.
Yes, that's true. I'm just saying. Wow.
Good job, Captain.
Yeah. Wow.
But remember, records from that time are spotty at best, so
This is
Okay.
also
you're going to get details wrong.
Okay. Fair enough. It's
say-
well,
I say interesting. It didn't sound like music to me.
really? What sounds like music to you?
Varro leans back in his chair for a moment. Says, "You'll excuse me, Captain, but for Betazoids, music is something spectacular. And this seems like a pale imitation. I can't replicate what true music is on a holodeck. True music is a merging of so many different experiences. Of thought, of sound, of movement.
Right.
This seems incomplete to me."
Right, because even though the people are singing and the instruments are playing, you can't feel the emotion behind it, can you?
Exactly.
I see.
This room is a useful tool, but it doesn't hold the same relaxation for me as it might for you.
It's a shame.
Indeed.
something I'll consider for the future. See if we can't find something to brighten your tune.
Varro actually smiles.
Now
A
is
full smile.
wow. Now is there anything else that you wanted? Or can I go back to my horrid cacophony?
I'll leave you to your peace, Captain.
Thank you.
I leave.
Computer, resume. Can you hear the people
Singing the song of angry men.
Yep. That was the scene that I wanted with Varro. If I know the ensign wanted a scene with me.
If you want to do it, yeah. If not,
Yeah, I just want to give other people a chance to have scenes if they want them.
I think I'd actually like to seek out Commander Varro during this trip.
Ooh.
Okay. When do you seek me out?
I think I'd be seeking you out kind of like somewhere on the first day.
Like when in the duty
Oh,
shift?
like after shift, if that's what you mean.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll be in my quarters.
Captain, I have an idea. What if instead of me seeking you out, you run into me on the holodeck instead? Like, less seeking me out and more just sort of interrupting what's happening.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. We can probably do that later. I want to let these guys have their scene.
Okay. I might have to go eat as well, so I'll be right back.
All right. Varro is in his quarters.
All right. So I guess you're sitting in your quarters and you hear the doorbell.
Come.
So I come in. So Varro, I've been meaning to talk to you about what happened on Sesku 6.
Yes, Lieutenant. And just an interruption here to set the scene a little bit. I'm not sitting behind my desk. I'm standing near a closet, and as the door opens, you can see in there, as it's closing, there's a slightly older Starfleet uniform of the previous generation. The black ones, you know?
I thought that was the
It's-
next generation.
Good one, though. No, it's like the Voyager uniforms. It's like that, except it has no division color. It's black all the way across. And the
Oh.
door is closing as I turn to face you. All right.
All right. So I've been meaning to talk to you about Sesku 6.
Yes, Lieutenant?
I suppose I wanted to, I guess, apologize for causing you to risk yourself during the defusing.
Lieutenant, there was no choice except for me to risk myself. Even if you'd not stayed, I would have.
I see.
We have a duty as Starfleet officers to protect life. Not our own lives, not just the lives of our crew, not even just the lives of the Federation, although those are paramount. We have a duty to protect sentient life wherever we find it. And your actions spoke highly of your moral character and your training as a Starfleet officer.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad you approve of my actions. And I'm glad that I'm also very grateful that you didn't almost die just for me.
And at that, Varro straightens up and says, "Now let me make one thing clear, Lieutenant. I might not have died just for you. But there was an entire settlement in that valley that would have been blown to smithereens if we did not accomplish our mission. We are Starfleet, and that means that we have to make the sacrifices necessary to protect others."
Agreed.
Was there anything else, Lieutenant?
I don't believe so.
Dismissed.
Okay.
Off duty. Varro's still acting like this.
Yeah, so I head out straight away.
Making junior officers uncomfortable. It's part of my job.
That
Yeah,
made
that-
me
that exhale
uncomfortable.
was-
Sorry, what?
That exhale was completely in character.
Gorgeous.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
If the ensign wants to do something with anyone, perfect time.
I think some establishing here would be nice. So, Ensign, do you want to set the scene?
Oh, the ensign wouldn't get to get food. I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Everyone just forgot.
Yeah. Ha, we're great at paying attention. aren't we?
I thought they were being really quiet.
Such an attentive.
I don't know if the ensign left to get food or if they just went to like the other room to get food.
Yeah, I think it was just like went to the other room to get them.
Because I see
I
their
assume they just
'cause their
warmed
mic
something
is-
up.
yeah, their mic's still
Yeah,
active.
Still in chat, so
Yeah, and occasionally
it
it like,
actives.
yeah, occasionally it lights up. But even so, there I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities to do more establishing scenes with her.
Yeah.
Someone going in for their overdue checkup. Append.
Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
why do
with
I get a
Penn.
feeling that Penn hasn't gone in for his checkup?
Penn doesn't need a checkup. He doesn't need the doctor to tell him he's already awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be a scene. The captain commands it. So, anyways, yeah, I think we're all good.
Okay.
Move on with that. That was a nice couple of scenes we did just there.
All right, so we'll go to official scene 1. All right, so the ship arrives at the coordinates that the crystal beams give to the Kismet. When the ship arrives within visual range of the planet, I'm assuming you throw the planet on screen.
Yep.
Bing.
Oh, I wonder where you got that.
Yes, thank you. All right, so when the ship enters visual range of the planet, you guys see that the crystal planet is teeming with crystalline spacecraft in the space around the planet. You see types of ships in all different shapes and sizes, from spheres to diamonds to even sleek designs of Starfleet ships and ships from many different species that could be found in your database, for example. The area around the planet is packed with ships entering and dropping out of warp, and ships can also be seen changing shapes and sizes in what looks to be some type of starship design test.
I think they're experimenting.
And Varro, so here goes. Very interesting.
Let's see. Where to begin?
Would you like me to open communications with the planet, sir?
Please do. This is Captain Harmon
All right,
Gresham.
hold on. Before that, Evans has something that he needs to do.
There are 3 ships on an intercept course, 1 crystal cruiser, and a diamond-shaped fighter craft.
All right. Stand at the ready. No need for alarm. Blank, cool.
All right. So since you don't have an ops, I'll send this to Pend since he
Yeah.
offered.
Captain, the vessels are hailing.
On screen.
Yes,
As
Captain.
the image comes up on screen, the view is taken inside of the crystal ship, and before your very eyes, the interior forms the shape of a textbook Starfleet-style bridge, and sitting in the captain's chair is a lone crystal being. And he says, Captain Grennan, I presume.
That would be me.
They're awaiting your arrival on the surface. You may bring 2 members of your crew.
Understood. Understood.
Your ship will remain under constant escort for the remainder of your stay. And once that sentence is finished, that transmission is cut off.
I have received a set of coordinates for the planet.
Very good. And oh god damn it, the 2 people I wanted to bring with me aren't here. God damn it.
Now, if we need to pause to wait for at least one of them, I think that'd be okay.
Yeah, my apologies. I just, I really want Liarka, and I would really like Karen Sullivan.
Yeah, those 2 make sense.
But, like, it's those 2 make the most sense for me to bring down with me, but they are also the 2 people who are not here.
Are you telling me I couldn't be diplomatic?
Varro and I just had a whole conversation about this.
I can be diplomatic. Maybe blunt about it, but I can be diplomatic.
What did you say?
It's true. Tellarites are good
earlier,
diplomats.
Pat? Hostile negotiations. I think we're good. Okay. Okay, so what shall we do while we wait for here's the question though. Ed, would it be okay since we know that Liarka is returning? Would it be okay if, once Ensign Sullivan shows back up, if we just say that we brought down Liarka with us but can't actually do anything until the player returns?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Just because I really would like these 2.
Yeah, I think they're probably the best to provide very different perspectives.
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to get anything from Varro or Evans that you can't think of yourself, probably.
Probably not. No offense to you, Evans.
Not taken.
It's like we're both very Starfleet.
Although, as I did mention, I did say out of character to in character, I was actually considering Pend for a short period.
Yeah, no. It's all about having different perspectives.
To be honest, I'd probably side with the crystals.
Like, take him away, he's guilty.
I'm sorry, our captain is an idiot. He does not represent us as a whole.
Oh no. We're bringing a Ferengi down to a planet in an episode called The Price of Peace.
Oh no.
I feel like it's gonna be really good or really bad.
Yeah, so the question is, do you really want to bring that away team with you?
Oh no, absolutely. For better or for worse.
I'm on a ship, I'm fine.
You guys can keep the remains of that scrap shuttle. We didn't need it any. Yeah. I'll be right back. We'll just wait for Sullivan to show up and continue. I'll just be right back.
I wonder if they're getting all their designs from the computer banks of that shuttle.
Probably.
Oh, that is likely, but it does seem that they're experimenting on their own as well.
Yeah.
First time we've seen them do like a bridge and like actually communicate with us.
Oof. Interesting stuff.
All right, these people need to hurry up. I have 6 scenes to get through.
Oh dear.
Yeah, right. It's like, come on, people, get back.
I have 6 scenes and whatever you guys want to role play between them.
Yeah, it's like all we've done so far is roleplay. I had to scramble to find one of the scenes that I wanted to run with the captain. I was like, shoot, these are not the scenes I had in mind for today. But I have a small list of scenes that I want to run at some point.
Oh, cool.
It's like, what's a good one on here? Okay, there's one.
Eventually, we'll just have Penn spinning around in his chair, going, "You spin me right round, baby, right round."
And I actually got to play out something I hadn't thought would come up for ages with someone coming into Varro's quarters. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
And here's me thinking we should be worried it's a sex dungeon.
I wasn't really sure what to expect there.
Okay,
Oh.
I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
She comes
Yeah,
back
cool.
when I say sex dungeon. Yeah, that works. Perfect timing.
Well, now the captain's going to be right back.
Oh, did you just leave?
Yeah.
So, one thing I was okay.
Okay, he's back.
Oh, is Sullivan back?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're ready.
Okay, great. Because I assume they explained to you what we're gonna do here, Sullivan.
Nope.
No, she just got back.
Okay, what we're gonna do is
So hold on. So we could just cut it. We could just cut it back into the scene right after the transmission cuts off.
yeah, good call. All right. Well, I've given this some thought, and well, a little bit more limited than I would like, but considering the circumstances, we're not in too much of a position to change terms. I'm going to be bringing 2 people down with me to the planet per their instructions, and I tap my comm badge. Ensign Sullivan, can you please meet me in the transporter room?
Aye, Captain.
Understood. And I tap my comm badge again, and I say, Ensign Liarka, please meet me in the transporter room, and I'll probably get an affirmative, and then I head down there.
Okay, so everyone meets in the transporter room.
And I mean, I assume everyone has been briefed to the as the situation.
Yeah.
And I will say that I've let the 2. I'll say that given that I picked the 2 of them when I could only bring 2, that Liarka and Sullivan knew ahead of time that they were probably going to be on this diplomatic mission.
Yeah, and you probably briefed them beforehand
Yeah.
about what to expect and how to do diplomatic stuff.
Right. So that's how I'm doing this. Okay. So I turn to the transporter chief and say, "Coordinates ready?"
Aye, sir.
Alrighty.
Sullivan is going. Wait, do you imagine Sullivan's already in the room, or should I do narrating coming in?
Well, you're coming from sickbay, so you probably got there before I did,
Oh, okay.
because I had to come from the bridge. By the way, Commander Varro, you have the con.
Thank you, sir.
That was.
I think it was implied.
Yeah,
Well, I
kind of
have the con.
implied. Anyways, so I'll say 3 of us step up onto the transporter pad. Engage.
And in a brilliant flash of blue light, you are transported down to the planet, and the coordinates that were given to the ship puts the away team in the center of a crystal city. The city looks how a typical Earth city would, with the building designs like that of the Earth, only made entirely of crystal. The city is bustling with crystal beings in humanoid form. The beings are moving in what looks in what they're moving between what looks like shopping centers and gathering places and things you would associate with a city. And it even looks like there are small children playing in the street. If you didn't know any better, you could swear that you were in a major Earth city during midday,
Are there
with
like,
everyone going about their day without a care in the world.
are there like massive skyscrapers? Are we talking like a modern city?
Yes, a modern Starfleet type city.
Oh, so modern by like
But
Star
by
Trek standards.
right in the year 2371 or what year is this? 2375. If you were to go to a major Earth city, that's what it looks like.
Ah, okay.
Sullivan is just gonna basically stare upwards and just sort of put her hands on her mouth, and it almost looks like she's about to cry.
All of this just from one look into our computer banks? Amazing.
As you guys are looking around the city, you are approached by 3 of the crystalline beings. One has the shape of what looks like a female. The other one a male, but they'll be wearing that of has like military decorations. You know, that of like a 20th century military officer. And then there's a third one, which is also male, that appears to be holding what looks like a high-powered beam weapon in his hand, and they walk towards you.
All made out of crystal, of course.
Yes, of course. The female of the group smiles and in a familiar yet more mature voice greets the away team by name. Captain Grennan, Ensign Sullivan, Ensign Lyrica, welcome to Zarkonia. And we'll cut there and go back to the ship.
We finally have a name.
Zarkonia and presumably Zarkonians.
So we'll head back up to the ship. So as you guys are, after the captain's beamed down to the ship, your ship is immediately flanked by the 3 ships that contacted you. And you are flanked on either side by 2 of the Diamond Fighters, or 1 on each side of you, but 2 in total. And the cruiser is following behind your ship.
All right.
And all systems are functioning normally, and nothing outside of the ordinary is happening.
Ben, keep us at station keeping.
Yes, sir.
So this scene is very much about just role playing. So if there's any insights you guys want to do while you're at your post, by all means.
Varro is the picture of tranquility in the captain's seat.
So,
Setting the example for his crew.
Commander, anything in particular you want me to do? Barrel rolls or just stay steady?
Just station keeping, Lieutenant.
Oh, okay.
Don't want to spook them.
I mean, if you wanted, we could ask if one of them wanted to come on board as a diplomatic thing.
I think we should leave the diplomacy to the captain for now, and from what we understand, that ship is one of them. Don't know if we want that on board, Lieutenant.
Well, that was worth an offer.
I'm going to keep in mind if diplomacy fails down on the surface, I guess. Varro says that very quietly.
I mean, I can always go down, fly, and pick them back up again.
Not with this blockade, we can't, Lieutenant. If things go bad down there, we'd be lucky to get out of here ourselves.
Probably.
That's everything I want to do.
Anybody want to do anything else while at their stations?
Oh, and Evans, don't touch your console no matter what you do.
I just take like a step back.
Can I
Acknowledged.
can I discern? Obviously, they're making different type of ships. Can I discern which ones would be more combat orientated? Which one would be more transport?
So the combat oriented ships haven't changed much, save for the fighter craft. They kind of adopted more of a diamond shape. But the cruisers that are the only other military type ship you can see, is still kind of the same. Like they kind of mix between the Luna class and the Steamrunner class ships. So they still kind of look similar to that. They just might be more sleek and more formed out than they were in the past.
Okay, I was just keeping a note for Pen in case everything does go to shit. Not that it will, but you know, just in case. Captain.
All right, 1 second, because I think your ops officer just showed up.
Oh, we're all so excited.
Yeah, that'll mean that we'll have our ops officer who can do stuff.
Then we can officially begin Operation Full Crew.
So it's not your lieutenant commander; it's the beta ship guy.
Close enough.
Oh, is it the person who have they made a sheet or something?
Yeah, yeah. I gave him the link, so they're.
Yeah. If they need help with character creation, I can jump over into 10 forward and help them out with that.
Yeah, well, the two of us are working on
Yeah, I gave him the link, so I think he has a character made. If you just
Okay.
wanted to help him with the sheet as soon as he enters.
I'll do that.
yeah, and the rest of us can just work on the diplomatic stuff, and we'll ping you if you're needed.
Sounds
Ooh,
good.
What's all this? What's happening? Why is it happening?
Are we being
Method
hacked?
it?
We're being hacked.
Are we?
I don't know.
I don't even know what Edward's saying.
Okay, so you're the new person, correct?
Yeah.
Ryan? Okay, so what we're gonna have you do is we're gonna actually have you hop over to 10 forward with the commander, and work on getting your character sheet all filled in properly.
And then your name on Roll20 is Jake, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I got your sheet up, so you shouldn't have any problems there.
So just go over to 10 forward, and Varo will take it from there. That way we can continue with the game.
Okay.
And you can just hop in when you're 100% done.
See if we have anything else we need to fill out.
Cool. So yeah, so I think that'll take care of the scene on the ship. So we'll jump to scene number 3. And the scene cuts back to the surface with the away team just meeting the greeting party.
Karen Sullivan is going to be basically going to be staring in awe of everything around her that she sees. It's not that she hasn't been on an Earth city. It's more of nostalgic. It's more a bit nostalgic for her, and also the fact that they managed to shape an entire planet into something like this.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you said that the voice that I heard out of the crystalline, the Zarkonian was familiar?
Yes, but more mature.
Oh no. Is
What
it
do you
the
mean, oh
voice
no?
of the naive one?
Yeah, I mean, how's that a bad thing?
As your memory serves you, yes.
You sound familiar. Do I know you?
Not officially, Captain, but I believe we met while you were held captive on our planet.
You sound a little different.
Yes, I have gained much knowledge in the time since you were here. I have grown.
Interesting.
But Captain, if you will follow us, the others are waiting.
The others.
Yes, the meeting is going to happen right away.
Of course. Lead the way.
Okay, so you guys are kind of led through the rest of the city, and you guys are kind of led to a cave entrance. And as you
If I may ask, is it based on a particular city in particular?
no, it's not based off of a city. It just has
It's very
the-
generic.
like the building designs are similar to what building designs would be in the major cities at this point. So it's not like it's not like you're in San Francisco, but the building styles are similar to what they would have there.
Yeah, probably what they did was they found architectural plans for what buildings on Earth looked like, and then just did the RNG populate
Yeah, pretty much.
Control V.
Pretty much.
Still
The whole
very
thing.
impressive, and she hasn't been in a. I like to think she grew up in New York.
Yeah, like you see similarities, but it's not like, oh, this is this street, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Definitely.
oh, I remember this building type. We have it on this street, but it's not actually, you know.
Yeah. But there is something definitely familiar about that.
Right, right. Like you feel at home almost.
Uh,
Yep.
Sullivan's also going to look like she's about to say hello to someone on the street. Just sort of say hi to random people passing by, but she always like restrains herself before she does so.
One second. I gotta give Varo the permission to, because I forgot to do that.
Ah.
Whoops. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
now what?
So you guys are led to a cave entrance, and as you guys walk down the cave entrance, you start to notice, at least people that have been in this cave caves before, that this looks to be the same cave that you escaped from when you were captives. However, this time it looks to be more like a military and research base. As you pass by some rooms with many of these Arconians, I will give you the name, working on various data on what look to be screens. And some of the rooms even have objects that are most definitely from off-world.
Oh, like non-crystal objects?
Right.
Oh. Huh.
If I may ask, the planet's name has it always been Zarkone?
That is what we have always called it.
And is this what you have always done when meeting outsiders?
This is the first time we have ever met someone that was not like us.
So,
Okay.
did you ever had the existence of life beyond your world ever occurred to your people before?
No, you are the first people outside of our planet that we have ever met.
Right, but I mean, I'm sure philosophers must have thought about it from time to time.
As far as we knew we were the only thing in the universe. Us and this planet.
We changed a lot, didn't we?
You have no idea, Captain. And you guys continue on your way. And you pass by, and as you guys are continuing through, you guys kind of pass by a large open room on the left-hand side. And inside this room, you guys can see crystal humanoids, or you can see crystals laid out on what looks like beds. Some of them have the form of humanoids, others look like just shards of crystal.
What is this?
This is where we have brought our injured from the war.
And that's all you hear out of the captain. Just an oh.
The war? You mean with us?
Of course.
Sullivan's face is gonna go a bit paler than normal.
How bad was it?
We have lost about 20. And there are still more that are injured.
I see.
If I may ask you, what is your name?
I have not earned a name yet. I am just known as the naive one.
And Okay, she's gonna be a bit quiet for a bit.
I'm curious. What's the life cycle of your people like?
We have always existed.
Always. But I was told that they were young.
You are correct. Some of us are born on this planet, but for others, they have always existed.
And do you keep existing?
Until this conflict, we always existed.
So we're the bringers of death.
Sullivan's spine, she's gonna give a visible shiver.
Bringers of death.
That doesn't sound good.
Vara, we basically just realized that these beings are they live forever, essentially. You know, they don't exactly have a lifespan, so to speak.
Huh.
And we're the ones who introduced the concept of death to them.
Oh no, indeed.
That's our captain for you.
I mean, technically it's our science officer,
Whoops.
but still.
So, I presume that there's a need for this to move forward. Where are the others? The people who wish to talk over the treaty?
They are just down here, Captain.
Understood.
Sullivan, you have weird stats.
Oh. Oh.
I mean, values, I should say.
Oh, values. Oh, can we move Sullivan into the Kismet?
Does this make you want to recess?
What? Just.
Just kidding. We're not gonna stop.
Yeah, I can move him in there and move Savoy out. There we go. That should do it.
I mean, the only value in there that seems a little vague is always show respect.
No, for what I'm looking for, it's not in there.
Oh, you're trying to find a relevant value to something.
Right, and it's not there.
Ah.
So at any point, so you guys are led.
26.
So you guys are led further down the through the cave, and you eventually come to a briefing room. And inside of this room is a rather large rectangular table surrounded with chairs. Filling all but two of these chairs are an assortment of Zarkonians. They appear to be from many different aspects of society. Some of them have military-like attire, while others have like a more normal humanoid appearance. And all of the Zarkonians seem to be bickering amongst themselves.
Ooh.
You cut out for a bit.
I heard
Uh,
all of it.
d-
We're in a room where you said all but two seats
all
are
but
filled?
all but 2 of the seats are
Okay,
filled up.
One of us is standing.
I wonder who.
Well, it's more like 2 of you are standing.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Don't.
oh, that's right.
She's gonna
because
whisper
the
to
naive one.
Grennan. Don't worry, Captain. I'll stand.
Okay. I assume one of those two. I turn to the naive one and say, "I assume one of those 2 seats are for me."
That is correct, Captain. So do you guys enter?
Do you want me to stay outside, Captain?
Captain?
Captain blow up?
Captain
That's a
blew up.
problem.
I am back. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
We were just wondering if you blew up.
No, I had to shoo away a family member.
Ah, yes. Okay. The ensign was wondering if she should wait outside.
Hmm. I can't believe this is going to be my legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I turn to the naive one and say, "So I assume one of those 2 seats are for me,
That is correct, Captain.
and the other."
I will be joining this meeting as well.
I see. Grennan steps forward and takes his seat.
All right, as you make your way inside the room, the others at the table stop bickering, and each of them start staring at you, at the captain in particular. Some of them look at the captain with obvious disdain, others with curiosity, and others seem to be more eager with anticipation than anything else. And they all seem to be waiting for the captain to say his first words. But before that happens, we are going to go back to the ship.
Okay. I'm glad I'm back for that.
All right, so Danny Rain has made his ops character, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. All right, so on board the ship, what are you guys doing?
I am being very boring story-wise, but doing what Varro would do and just sitting in the chair looking the picturesque commander.
Hmm. Danny would probably be cycling through EPS relays, just checking the 1,000th decimal points for any changes in efficiency to see where he could tinker and poke around later. But he's being equally boring if there's nothing going on.
Yeah, I'm being boring because I'm setting an example for the rest of the crew that we are keeping calm. We are not taking any rash actions. We may be surrounded by hostile ships, but we are focused on doing nothing to provoke them.
Fair enough. So, Danny, if that's your name, how long have you been on the ship? What are you doing?
As far as tenure on the ship, I wasn't quite sure on that. I kind of stayed vague on that, given I don't really know like what kind of backstory you guys are working with. And
Right,
how far along
you could just use something like you rotated in with the last crew rotation.
Yeah, that'll work. He's not kind of. He's very much an introvert, but he's kind of a head in the clouds sort of intellect. Like he does better with machines and computers and math and all that stuff better than he does people. So he tends to be pretty buried in his work, but it kind of presents itself as being like absent-minded in a way. So like he's doing his normal thing of, you know, playing around in the systems and seeing what needs attention and making notes to look at it later.
I mean, if you're looking for a good game, you can find Minesweeper on there.
3D Minesweeper on a pad. This is the future.
Oh god, 3D Minesweeper. Screw that.
I'm more of a
Hey,
fan
I
of
don't even know
Snake,
that the
but, you
people
know.
who made Minesweeper know how to beat that.
All right, what's the other two people on the bridge doing?
I've been explicitly asked not to touch the tactical station.
Yes, that was in character.
So I'm like a full step back, just kind of like seeing if I can think of anything to do. Occasionally picking off a piece of lint from my uniform.
I love the contrast between when Varro's in command versus Drennan.
So is
Hey guys,
Penn,
hold on 1 second.
is Penn the only one who's actually acting like a real person on this bridge?
In this situation, yes.
God, you
Oh.
lot are boring. I'm gonna say that in character, by the way.
As
All right, I'm
I
back.
respond, Lieutenant, we don't know the full capabilities of those ships out there. So we don't know what, if any, actions on our part might be interpreted as hostile. We know they've had access to our computer banks, so running simulations on our computers does not seem like a good idea, nor does engaging in maneuvers in physical space. So what do you suggest we do? Personally, I suggest that we be patient and await the captain and hope his diplomacy goes smoothly.
That seems fair. If that's okay, I'll just spin around in my seat then for a bit.
Wait, do the seats on Starship bridges swivel? I forget if they do.
They swivel. They don't swivel all the way.
That's not gonna stop me.
Kind of like a back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It-
Forth and forth.
When Penn says that, Varro kind of looks down to the side, and there's a little tug of a smile. But he's purposely concealing it.
You spin me right round.
God damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm not picking off lint anymore.
Come on, Evans, join in.
I don't know this
Well, he doesn't have a seat.
Yeah,
He-
he doesn't have a seat. He's
You can
tactical.
spin around stood up.
I just kind of like rotate my torso a few to each side.
Clearly not a part of Starfleet regulations. What's happening here?
It's not against regulations either, though. Not explicitly.
Well, Ed, I think
Nor
we've
is it
decided.
against-
Yeah, I think we've decided what we're doing.
All right, hold on. My internet's being weird on my phone, and it's trying to upload this huge ass fucking data file, and it's doing it with my data and not what I want it to be.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Oh, that's a bad.
Take care of that.
That is a bad.
Yeah.
Expensive mistake.
Oh, so what's the last name for Danny?
Rain.
Rain?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Commander, I've been thinking. Considering we have a lot of rotations of crew members, we should have a talent competition. That should be interesting.
That could be a fun sort of break in the action, like
Varro tilts his head to the side, eyebrow goes up, and he says, "Very well, Lieutenant. Submit a recommendation to the captain."
What, we just can't do it?
Are you suggesting now?
I mean, probably not now, but we could if you're bored.
I assure you, Lieutenant, my mind is sufficient to keep me occupied.
Well, you're missing out then.
There we go. Okay. Cool. All right. So who did I need to send this to? You. So as you guys are going about your business on the bridge, Lieutenant Evans, your console starts beeping.
Commander, there's a Ferengi Marauder class ship that just dropped over.
Take your station, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. It is at bearing 78, Mark 54.
Broadband hail.
So as the ship drops out of warp, and just before you hail, the Ferengi ship, as it warps into the system, it starts to have active scans on all the ships in the system. The ships,
What's
the
right?
planet, the Kismet, it's scanning everything.
Okay. And I say, Ops, hail our crystal friends out there. Want their leave before we attempt any action.
Danny will go ahead and flick the hail button.
And the ship that hailed you earlier responds to the hail. Yes, Commander.
The Ferengi ship that just dropped out of warp. May we move to communicate with them?
You may, Commander, but we are watching you.
I would have it no other way. I should also say, watch them as well. Helm, bring us around. 1/4 impulse.
Yes, Commander.
Ops, give me the frequency of that ship.
Is that anything I need to roll for, or?
You're just hailing, right?
Yeah, I'm just pretty much telling you to hail them. That's not a roll.
Okay. Danny will pass it along.
All right. So as you hail the Ferengi ship, they do respond with a video whatever. So on the screen appears a Ferengi that seems to be kind of well off. He's wearing nice clothes. He obviously is probably better off since he seems to have his own ship.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and says, "Yes, Commander, what can I do for you?"
We're currently in the middle of delicate negotiations in this system. If you could hold off on your scans for a few days, it would be much appreciated.
Well, Commander, we discovered this planet first, and we're here to make our claim to it.
Oh, no.
This planet is inhabited and you have no right to claim it.
Come on, Commander, look at this planet. I had to see it for myself. It's a planet made entirely of diamonds. Think of what I can get for that.
Are
I
diamonds
lean forward in my...
replicatable?
Yeah, well, sort of. I lean forward and I say, that planet is inhabited. Do I make myself clear? You will not approach without authorization from its inhabitants.
All right, Commander. What do you want for the planet? So surely there's something we can negotiate here.
I want to spin in my chair and just like mouth to the commander. Fucking Ferengi.
You just hear, agreed. Mentally. The planet is not for sale.
Wow.
I'm sorry. We have not made your acquaintance.
Very well, Commander. My name is... Oh, what's his name?
My name is... What shit?
Oh,
My name is Treba. Come on, Commander. What's your price for the planet? Surely I can meet it.
Treba, you must know that trafficking in sentient life is a crime under Federation law.
Well, Commander, we don't seem to be anywhere near the Federation out here, so why don't you tell me how much for the planet?
As I said, the planet is not for sale. If you want to contact my superiors, perhaps you could negotiate a favorable agreement for leaving now.
Come on, Commander. We both know that you cannot match my ship in combat. What's your best price? This is the last time I'm going to offer.
Varro sits back in his seat for a second, thin-lipped smile, and he says, I don't think you want to challenge me to combat, Ferengi. Even if we are outside of Federation space, common decency still applies here, and I have a duty to protect sentient life wherever it may be.
Commander, roll me a task roll using command presence, difficulty 1.
Well, this isn't my best roll,
But it's difficulty
but
1.
it's definitely not my worst either.
It is a command roll, after
Yeah.
all.
Okay, difficulty
That does
1.
Okay. So the Ferengi, after hearing you say that, kind of looks around, punches something on his console, and the Ferengi ship turns and leaves the system at warp.
Yeah, we're gonna get more Ferengi soon. Tactical, be prepared for that.
You might want to tell the.
I'll make note of that.
Sorry, what?
I was about to say, you might want to tell the crystalline people that there might be people from outside of your organization who might mean
Yeah,
to do.
I'm going to contact.
Oh yeah, it's probably important
as
that they know
well.
that we're not with them.
Ops, hailing frequencies to the crystalline ships.
Channels open.
And
I assume you're-
on screen, the crystalline ship, or the crystalline person you were communicating with, appears again.
I assume you were monitoring that, I say, unpleasantness.
Of course, we have placed our ships on alert.
Good. The Ferengi are not as a whole a bad people. Their outlook on the universe, however, is sometimes troubling.
Just know, Commander, that we will defend ourselves with all our power. And the screen goes black.
Oh, I was going to say something.
Remember, they're still not friendly with you.
Right.
Hmm.
Anything else on the ship?
Ben, take us back to station keeping.
Yes, sir, and may I add again, fucking Ferengi.
Amen to that.
I
Oh,
take just
so
like a half
that's why
step.
Ed wanted to know whether or not I was keeping Liarka on the ship.
Sure did.
I take just a half step towards my console. Not a full step, just a half step.
Lieutenant, you have permission to take your station. Don't
Take
activate
another
any systems,
step.
though.
All right, and then we'll head back down to the planet with the captain, with all eyes on the captain.
Hello. Not much more to say than that, I guess. What is there to say, really?
So as you say that, one of the Zarkonians in some of the military getup points and he says, "That's the guy that hurt our people."
I won't make excuses. And Harmon takes a couple steps forward and motions to the chair and says, "May I?"
The military guy sits back in his chair and kind of leans back, waiting for you to finish your thought.
May I take my seat?
I think that was the invite.
Okay. I didn't realize that's what you were going for. And so Harmon steps forward, sits down, and says, I'm not going to pretend that what I did was right by any stretch of the imagination, but it was an action born out of ignorance.
And you are interrupted, an ignorance that cost us dearly.
Agreed. And the organization that I represent is willing to do what it takes to make things as right as they can be.
So he looks at you. So this is what we want. We want reparations for every Zarkonian that we lost during this conflict. We want tactical information on all of your weapons and shields so that we could build up the defense. And we got tactical information on every species you have ever come across.
I'm afraid that's not going to be possible.
As you say that, he turns to the rest of his group. You see, it's impossible to make any type of agreement with these people.
That's not an agreement. That's a demand.
What else would you have us do, Captain? You come to our planet, the first one of your kind we have ever seen, and you kill us. You and your people, you kill us.
And what would you do with this information should we give it to you?
We want to build a defense so that we never have to deal with this again.
Building a defense. Building up a wall. Right. I can't guarantee that that will keep you safe forever. Whether your species likes it or not, you've stepped out onto the larger galactic stage. And, like it or not, someday you'll run into someone that your defense can't protect you from.
And so, as you're saying that, one of the other people in the group that kind of looks more to be what you would consider a civilian, kind of looks at you. I apologize for their behavior, Captain. They are our military branch now. However, he does not speak.
I suppose you have one of those now, don't you?
Of course we do. But he does not speak for all of us. Some of us are curious about the places around us, and we know that not everybody is hostile as they would have it seem. So perhaps we can amend what we need, because we would love to have those sensors that you guys use so that we can explore the universe around us. And we'd also like some star charts though, so that we have an idea of what we can explore, an idea of what's out here.
Oh, Heliarca.
How much for just the planet?
Yeah, how much for just the planet?
There's actually a book called
yes,
that.
I know. I own.
Yeah, and you missed it.
Damn it.
Oh yeah. By the way, you're on the planet with me and Ensign Sullivan, which I'm now slightly regretting because it appears that Ferengi are showing up and trying to make.
Oh no, and there's a Ferengi.
Yeah, a
There's a
Ferengi cruiser just showed up and tried to buy the planet.
Yeah.
Wait,
And they're gonna be
wait,
back
I have
with
a
more.
focus.
And
Oh
there's
shit,
a-
what the hell?
I just realized that there's as I said, as soon as the Ferengi showed up, I realized that there was a reason that the episode was titled "The Price of Peace."
I didn't think. I actually have negotiation, politics, and finances, so I can actually go through their bullshit tactics from the
Yeah,
Ferengi.
well, no, that's why I brought you down to the planet to help me negotiate the peace treaty.
Okay, so all right, let's negotiate another peace treaty.
Well, this is the first time we're negotiating a peace treaty.
Well, I meant never
But so they said hang on. So they said star charts and sensor technology.
Correct.
Well, that's something that I believe the Federation could absolutely do. Our sensor technology is very good, and for the price of not reigniting a war, it's a small price to pay, especially considering your race seems to have the ability to advance its technology quite readily. Your technology, as I suppose it is on a very similar level to ours. I saw some objects back in one of the other rooms. I assume you're studying salvage technology from our skirmishes?
It's not your technology, Captain, that we're studying, but various things we have found from the brief time that we have actually been in space. This is very exciting for us, Captain.
I imagine so. It was exciting for us too when we first ventured outside of our little sphere, 400 years ago.
But yes, if we can get these scanners and if we can get some star charts of the reason, the scientific group approves any treaty made.
Understood. I can get you the star charts easily. However, I will have to ask approval from my direct superiors to give you the scanning technology. But given what's at stake, there should be no trouble.
And then the naive one kind of turns to you, and Captain, there is other things that we would need help with. Obviously, if we are to join the larger universe, we are going to need a place for our planet to go. We would like you to help us find a place that would be perfect for our planet to be able to, how do I say this? To be able to make contact with others of your kind.
I see. Others of our kind, as in just other alien life, or
Correct.
life in our Federation?
Just other life in general, Captain. More like yourselves. And if you could give us any more of these databases on these races so that we may broaden our understanding.
I see. Yes, I believe an exchange of information would be in our best interests. After all, this whole incident was born of lack of information. So, yes, I believe we could easily find you a suitable location to settle down, as it were. You're actually not far off, so to speak. Your planet actually exists very close to what you could almost say as the crossroads between three major interstellar empires.
And if we could get these things, Captain, then the civilian population at large will approve this treaty.
I see.
Then the group with the military decorations. And what about our stuff? In like a rather enraged voice.
Before I proceed any further with that line of questioning, I do want to clarify something about these peace talks in general. How unanimous does the decision for peace need to be?
The naive one turns to you and says, at least a majority, at least some of our demands must be met from each group.
So some demands from each group.
That is correct.
I see. All right. I think how many different groups are there that I have to appease?
All right, so just in general, so before, like this is out of role play, So there are three distinct groups: the civilians, the scientists group, and the military group.
Okay, so I've sort of managed to appease two of them.
Right, and then there's also kind of what they all want overall, which is obviously a peace treaty, and then like formal recognition of their race, which that I don't think we have to cover.
Of course. While I can't promise you, while I can't promise you our firepower, I believe the Federation would be happy to put you in contact with a race that knows a thing or two about fighting.
We are not interested in meeting other races, Captain. I'm going to spend 2 threat right here.
Great.
And as he says that, he kind of like his whole body sinks into the floor. And maybe about 30 seconds later, kind of on like a crystalline stretcher, is a injured Zarkonian, and it's brought into the room. May I remind everyone here of why we're here in the first place, so that this, as they point down to the injured Zarkonian, does not happen again.
If we don't have a peace treaty, it'll just be more of this.
We have studied your database, Captain. You are the ones that claim to want peaceful coexistence amongst all races. We want reparations for every single Zarkonian that was lost to this senseless war. We want tactical information on your weapons and shields so that we can no longer be damaged by your weapons. And we want information on other species around this area so that we can build a defense against them too. I will not stand by and watch more of my people killed.
We would be happy to offer you information on other species and what exists around you. That's paramount to understanding your place in the bigger galactic stage, of course. But we can't give you our own weapons technologies.
Just a note that that's explicitly against.
Yeah, that's Prime Directive stuff, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a bit different here because this is a
They do have space travel.
This is a species that is clearly warp capable. And
Right,
has
but we still can't
technology
share
comparable.
technology with them unless they're part of the Federation, and even then, it's only theoretical knowledge.
Correct. But in the interest of keeping a peace, I might be able to swing something. If it's just sensor technology, I might be able to swing something.
Right, we might be able to do that.
Rule of acquisition 35. Peace is good for business. They may just find and buy their technology once they have our own peace treaty.
Exactly. We're not saying that you will never receive this technology and that you'll never know the more intimate secrets of how our weapons work. It's not off the table forever. But as things stand now, coming out of a war, the last thing I want to talk is weapons.
If we could get tactical information on at least some of these species around here, I guess we will consider it.
Of course. After all, you probably will want to know about, even though they are friendly with us, you will want to know about the Klingons, and his face goes flat. He says, of course, the Romulans. There is a lot to take in, and I think there's too much to be handled in one single negotiation. Further discussions will, of course, be required in order to bring about better understanding between our two peoples, but getting this peace treaty down just to stop the senseless violence, I think, is the most important first step. And he motions to the one on the crystalline being on the stretcher. He says, "As I said before, we need this treaty, or else there will be more of this on both sides. I don't think you." And he looks at the military person. He says, "And I know you don't want that. Your impassioned speech has shown me nothing if not that."
So as you are saying that to the military guy, running into the room is another Zarkonian dressed in military garb. He disrupts the meeting, and he says, "One of our scout ships have been captured by that Ferengi ship about a light year away."
What? A Ferengi ship?
Fuck.
And as that happens, the military people stand up and says, "This treaty cannot be signed until all of our people are back."
And like, straight faced, he turns to the military person and says, "Agreed." Captain Gren de Kismet, do I have a signal?
You do.
Faro here.
We're gonna have to put this peace treaty on hold. It appears that one of their ships has been taken by a Ferengi. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this, would you?
I'm afraid we had an encounter with a Ferengi cruiser a short while ago. Let's just say their intentions were not conducive to this negotiation.
You see. Stand by for another moment or two, Commander, while I work with the council here to decide upon a proper plan of action. After all, this is their people, their planet.
Understood, sir.
Captain out. And I turn to them and I say, "Well, this is your world. Your talks. What do you suggest?"
They all so as you say that, they all kind of look at each other, and you could tell they're kind of potentially communicating each other. And they all then after maybe about 10 seconds, it looks like they all have a consensus. And the naive one turns to you and says, "Captain, I think in the interest of going on with this treaty, I believe it is decided that if your ship can reclaim our lost individual, I think these talks can continue."
Understood.
However, Captain, I do not think it would be prudent for you to leave the planet.
Understood. What sort of measures would you want taken to ensure that my ship acts properly under the circumstances? Just the continued escort, or anything else?
We believe that we can take off your shackles in this regard, Captain.
Understood. I assume you want my diplomatic attaché to remain with me as well?
Correct, Captain.
Understood.
Captain, remember the 200th rule of acquisition. A Ferengi chooses no side but his own.
Yeah, you're right. I thought that was the 201st. I'm mistaken.
201st, choose a side that gives you the most profit, but only take it when it's good for you. Be right back.
How apt. and just the captain just slumps into the chair. And he taps the comm badge. He says, "Commander, you have permission to go after the Ferengi vessel. Take caution, though. you are being permitted to go on your own. Did they give me permission to have them go off on their own?
That is
Pretty sure.
correct.
It says, you do have permission to go off on your own on this one, but be forewarned, we are still being monitored.
Understood, sir.
I'm going to remain here on the planet in interests of upholding the delicate balance.
There's a slight pause. All right, Captain.
You have your orders? Just, take care, will you, Commander?
Yes, sir.
Captain out.
Ben, prepare to break orbit. We have a Ferengi to catch.
Yes, Commander.
Ops, get me their warp trajectory. Need to find them.
Oh, I can actually touch my station now.
Yeah.
All right, so ops, this is going to be a task role of let's call it reason and science. Difficulty 1.
Okay, how do I roll this?
Oh yeah, how familiar are you with the system?
With the
Way back.
game mechanics, I'm solid, but within roll 20, I'm a little dodgy.
Okay, that's better than a lot of what we've had.
You want to
So-
explain it, Captain, or should I? Or the commander?
Oh, I can do it super quick. The so go into the sheet for the task roll. Click on the number that is how many dice you are going to roll.
In this case, it's 2.
Yes, that is the
Okay.
standard. If you're using a focus, then you get to use a focus.
Would warp field dynamics key into that?
Probably not warp field dynamics.
Okay.
Okay, then what is he doing?
I think I said reason and science.
No, but what is this test to do?
Oh, he's trying to locate the Ferengi ship so they can get a bearing.
Oh, is this a sensors check?
Yeah.
Haha, advanced sensors.
Woohoo! They're the best.
What are advanced sensors? Is that
Advanced-
the ship
advanced-
trait?
Advanced sensors. Whenever we do a task where we're using the sensors to do stuff, the difficulty goes down by 1. It is a really good talent,
Oh, okay.
and the ship has it.
So the ship will be assisting you in this roll. You'll make a roll, and the ship will make a roll, and the difficulty will go down by 1 from the base.
Okay, so the task roll was 2 dice, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
and then you said it's reason science.
Yes.
So you have to click on the things that you want it to roll.
Okay, I've got those queued up. And then the complication range.
That's going to be always 1 unless I say otherwise.
Okay.
Yep.
And then so now I just click on the little insignia.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. We just need the
Okay.
ship.
And
Yep,
I can
I
do
like
that.
that a lot.
I'll take. Ooh, that's a good roll. Then
Sensors.
I'll take care of that.
Okay.
That's
go.
It was
Sensor
much
science.
easier than what we were doing before, because I think that was before they actually made like the official character sheet.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
The character sheets are helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
These are really
So,
well.
what was the difficulty based on that?
So it's technically 0, so you bank 3 momentum.
Nice.
And because you're ops, I think you get a free question.
Yes. I think.
I think that's how that works.
Okay, so here's the information. So when there's information to be had, I will send it to you a direct message in Discord so that you can relay it to the rest of the crew. So you can role play a little bit with that. Did you get that message, Danny?
Yeah. Okay. So the Ferengi ship is it's on a heading of bearing 210, mark 125.
Speed?
Can that be my question?
Sure can.
So since we know the direction, yeah, can I get the speed at which they left?
Maybe that'll clear that up. So that's his free question for being at ops, right?
Commander, it looks like they left the system at warp 5.
All right. Helm, land a pursuit course, warp 8.
Commander.
Then Penn, you could probably make a roll here.
I was thinking that to get there before them to intercept them.
And then you are going to have to spend power to get to them.
Yeah. The power thing. We've got power, though. We're good on that.
Yeah, because that's one of the things about our ship. We have more power than the average ship. So how much are we going to have to spend to overtake them?
So they're traveling warp 5. So to overtake them, well, really, it depends how quickly you want to overtake them.
I said warp 8.
All right, so that'll really get there. How much power do you have?
15.
Yeah, I think if you spend 8, I think you'll get there in a very quick amount of time.
Okay, just
One power for each warp factor.
Really? Warp 1 costs the power, though?
Well, yes, but
Okay.
Could I? This is not going to work. Could I make a
Why
roll?
did you just roll weapons? Why did you just roll? What?
We just fired torpedoes into empty space. Probably not the best thing.
My apologies. I must have tapped something while scrolling.
this is why Lieutenant Evans cannot touch the console.
Wow.
I was just browsing the internet. And then the torpedoes fired.
We've gone to plaid.
I'm cleaning my room.
Man, I heard it. I was just like, who rolled?
Great.
Ed, I know he's probably going to say no, but could I make a roll to see if I can get there more efficiently?
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Let me look at your sheet, and then.
Yeah, I mean, he is gonna have to plot a course and everything, and he's gonna be the one actually flying the thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make this a difficulty 2 task. For every success above the number you need, I will refund that much power.
Okay.
So if you get 3 successes, I'll give you back a power. If you get 4, I'll give you back 2.
Could we spend another momentum to increase that?
Yeah. Well,
Can I spend my determination?
There's ways of getting back power, right?
Yeah, there are ways of getting back power. We do not have an engineer.
But we do have an ops officer.
We do have an ops officer, and that's one of the things they're really good at.
Yeah.
Is shunting power.
Restore
around.
power is their thing.
So, yeah, I'd say make the roll and see if you can.
Essentially, see if you can do really well and get his power back. If not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, because you still get the assist from the ship, so it's not outside the realm of possibilities.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what's it gonna be? Engines.
Engines con,
Engines con.
I think, unless
Okay.
Penn
Could either
says
be
it's something
engines
else.
con or engines engineering, I think. But I think engines con.
Oh,
makes
engines
sense.
engineering, because we're trying to do like an efficient power thing.
Well, hold on. They actually have what the con position task is to navigate.
Ah. Never mind then. It's probably engines con.
More than likely, it'll be maybe Reason Con.
Hold on. Let me pull up that page because for every task of like maneuvering thrusters impulse, there is a task roll associated with it. It's normally difficulty 0. That's why we never really do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Plot course is Reason Con assisted by the ship's computers con.
Okay.
What page is that on? Just so I can look at it too.
Oh no, I was just taking it off your space combat.
Ah, cool. Does anybody know the page of which the tests are on?
Oh.
It's been so long since I've cracked my book open.
Yeah, I didn't realize to looking at that.
Hang on, it's around 220. Oh, here it is. 222.
222. Cool. All right, so so you're plotting a course, correct? Okay. Yeah, reason con, computers con. That's fine.
Oh,
Okay.
but it says with a difficulty of 3.
Right, but we're using it in a different
Different way.
fashion than what
But
it's
you're-
listed as.
I see, but you're just using it to get the.
To get what stats he's using.
Okay.
Right.
So computers con. That's better.
Indeed, it is.
So considering my reason is garbage, yeah, I'm gonna spend that determination.
I
Fair.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that determination should be saved
Because
because the power's not that big a deal.
right.
Like, we still have power.
And we do have someone who can get us power back.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, drop to spend momentum.
Well, but we're gonna end up needing.
Just
it's
just make the roll. We'll see if it works.
It's kind of a crapshoot, really.
Oh!
Whoa!
Holy shit!
So we get
Yeah.
power back.
So you get 3 power back and you bank 3 momentum. So there's that.
Sorry, my reason was an 8. That's why I was concerned.
Apparently, you should have faith in yourself, Penn, is what that just told you.
Yeah.
A nat 1 and a 4 that hits the crit range. Wow.
Yeah. So get 3 power back in the warp. So you're using 5 power to catch up to them very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys go to warp, and I will let you figure out which range you want to drop out of warp at.
Medium.
Okay.
Normally, I'd be all for dropping right on top of them, but
Right. So hold on.
Apparently,
just
that's
go
why
to
I'm
this-
the best pilot.
Alert!
I didn't know we were the engine.
The engine is the Ferengi ship, for lack of a better term. If you guys wanted to plot where you guys are at, but I think that'll do it.
Yep.
And you drop out of warp in medium range.
Tactical, prepare to lock tractor beam. Ops,
Aye, sir.
hail them.
Wait, what do they
Channels
actually
open.
see, though?
What?
What do they actually see, though? Because
Oh yeah, on screen.
So Tabra appears on screen. Commander, come to renegotiate terms of the planet.
No, I've come to pursue you for crimes against sentient life.
Are you
Quite different.
talking? Are you talking the nice gem we found in space?
Yes, I am.
I assure you, Captain, there is nothing sentient about this hunk of rock.
I beg to differ, as I'm sure it would.
Captain, we took this fair and square with the terms of our rules of acquisition. Surely even your Federation can acknowledge that.
I don't acknowledge that those rules have any bearing in this discussion. We're talking about humanitarian concerns, not profit.
As I said before, Commander, this is no sentient species. And he kind of hits a crystal that's on the bridge. This is just a hunk of rock that is worthless to you Federation types, but is worth a fortune to me.
Where did you find that useless rock?
Would you believe it, Commander? It was just floating in space, moving ever so slowly around the planet not far from here. Could you believe someone just leave this crystal floating in space?
I lean forward and I say, what you just hit there is a dead body, sir. That's why it won't respond. Now, the entity in your cargo hold may not be responding to you for a multitude of reasons. I don't particularly care which one it is.
And I don't particularly care for your attitude, Commander. No one is going to stand between me and my...
Tactical lock tractor beam.
Wait. Commander, can we talk about this? Surely there's something you want.
Not if you won't be reasonable.
Come on, Commander. Surely there's something you can give me for my trouble. This has to be profitable.
And I just kind of pause for a second and I say, perhaps we could come to some agreement. And I kind of hold my hand up towards Evans, like waving him off from engaging the beam. Negotiation is, after all, a core foundation of the Federation as well as the Ferengi Alliance.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Commander. Now you get it. What would you like to trade?
You see, though, there's a small issue. Your actions here have interrupted our negotiations. I feel that it is you who owes me a recompense for that. You have made our jobs harder with your reckless blundering. And you owe me.
Commander, roll me. How do I want to do this? Because that was kind of awesome. Roll me presence command. I'm going to do this opposed against the Ferengi's presence of command for the intimidation tactic.
Okay.
Spend.
Jesus.
I'm going to spend 3 momentum here.
Okay.
Do it. Do it, Brug.
Because I want this to be awesome.
And I will spend 3 threat as well.
Okay.
Ooh.
Damn it. Okay.
I mean, that was pretty good. You did beat him.
I did beat him. Can I spend an extra momentum to cancel out that complication?
Is that how that works?
I think you have to spend 2.
Yeah. Oh, you have to spend 2?
Yeah, spend.
I think it's still worth it in this. It drops us to 1, but
But
we
yeah,
have it.
All right. So as you say that, all right, Commander. You can have the rock back, but I will be letting Starfleet know about this.
Feel free. I'm sure they'll want to press charges.
And then the communications are cut, and the Zarkonian is beamed aboard your ship.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Captain Grennan would be proud.
This is negotiation Varo style. Okay. Lieutenant, set course back for Zarconia. Well, I don't know. It's called Zarconia. Set course back for the planet.
Aye, aye, Commander. Good job.
Appreciated. That was a little pulse pounding there. It's like, really hope this works.
Inside Ed's mind. Aw, but I wanted ship combat.
You and me both.
Actually, I had that whole scene written for however you wanted to deal with it.
Nice.
I just wrote the Ferengi and what he wanted, and whatever happens.
Great.
That is fun.
Oh
Love doing
god.
Okay. So, should we jump to when we get back to the system?
Yes.
Open the launch bay doors.
So I should probably mention that at this point, the Zarkonian has entered humanoid form.
Oh, okay. Did I go down and greet them? What happens here? 'Cause I think we need to roll back here a minute.
So in my mind, the Zarkonian was just kind of beamed aboard your ship in like a giant hunk of diamond shape.
Mm-hmm.
So it was beamed onto the bridge, and once they noticed they were no longer on the ship, they kind of transformed into their humanoid form.
Okay, let's do that scene then, because that seems important.
So that's how it's, in my mind, how it happened.
Okay, yeah, let's roll with that then.
Okay,
As-
as they go into humanoid form, they just kind of look at you and says, "Thank you, Captain."
I incline my head and I say, "It was a privilege. Now let's return you home, shall we?"
And he just nods in agreement.
I gesture to the VIP seat next to me, to my left.
And he, I would say, unsteady body movement finally sits in the chair as if they're not used to sitting.
And then I say, "Lieutenant, plot a course back for the planet."
Aye, aye, Commander. Good job.
I could not speak there for a second.
All right,
Appreciate it, Lieutenant.
and now you're back at the planet finally.
And then I turn to Zarkonian and I say, "Do you want us to beam you somewhere specific, or do you want to leave in a different form? We can open our launch bay doors for you."
You could just put me on the planet, Commander.
Very well. I stand up and I say, "If you'll follow me."
And he nods.
And I take him down to the transporter room. Before I leave, I say, "Lieutenant Penn, do you have the con?"
Finally, I promise I won't crash it.
Okay. I'm getting to the turbo lift. Head down to the transporter room. I turn to the entity as we're getting down the transporter and I say, "I truly hope that our peoples can come to an agreement that will end this bloodshed."
As do we all, Commander. As do we all. And the bean is transported out of the room.
I head back to the bridge.
So is there anything you guys wanted to do in the commander's absence on the bridge?
Don't you dare!
So, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm in charge, we can play music, we can have a party, you know. How does that sound?
I'm just imagining that scene with Q where he's playing a trumpet and there's
With the
cigars
mariachi
in everyone's mouth. Yeah.
Evans,
And I walk
Snaps his fingers. There's two women next to the person he puts next in charge.
Evans fire torpedoes in every direction.
Oh, by the way, did they get their power back?
Yeah,
It's the end of the scene. If it's the end of the scene.
technically not, but it's fine.
I mean, I'm also fine with staying at our power because we currently have the power of a Luna class ship.
Yeah. Base level.
I can just tell ops to run power regeneration stuff.
Yeah, I mean, by the time it matters, you guys will probably be at power.
I mean, we might
By
have to
the time it
requisition a new chair.
matters?
This one's uncomfortable.
Okay, so does anybody do anything on the bridge while I'm gone? Like, definitively.
Ops, see what you can do about that power. Evans, keep spinning around.
Let's get back to rotating.
Okay, so
Punishment. He screws up. Spin in your seat.
what is the scene that happens as the turbolift doors open? Because I want to see this.
So I think you see one of the officers at ops actually trying to do work. You see Lieutenant Penn trying to flip through music stations he likes on the over the intercom, and you see who the hell's his name? You see Lieutenant Evans just kind of spinning in circles at his tactical station.
I stay in the turbolift for like 3 seconds after the doors open. And then I step on deck. Attention!
Thank you.
I didn't crash it.
Very true. And I take the center seat again.
I just gotta hold my head a little bit.
Oh, I have a bunch of junior officers, and they just made it abundantly clear to me that they are junior officers.
Professional.
So yeah, Commander, you take your spot. Anything else you do before I shoot back down?
Nope.
Wow.
Oh,
Do you maybe tell the captain that mission accomplished?
oh right. I had a different thing in my head.
No, he's not
Yeah,
important.
so-
Just ignore him.
Kismet to Captain Grennan.
Captain here.
Mission accomplished.
That's a relief. Was it difficult?
Not particularly.
Good. I bet these Arconians will be happy to hear.
On the bridge, Varro kind of looks up for a second, nods, and says, "I'm glad it benefited you, sir."
Of course, now these peace negotiations can resume. I probably won't contact you again until the negotiations are more or less concluded.
Very well.
Captain out. And he turns to face the large group. He says, "Well, it appears that my that my XO has successfully retrieved your missing citizen."
And the naive one turns to you and says, "Very good, Captain. We can finally put this matter behind us."
Not only this, but I hope that we can start putting all of these matters behind us.
Okay, so out of game, what exactly did you say you would put in the peace treaty?
Okay, I agreed that I would give. I agreed for the military guys that I'd give them like information on who the major nearby powers are and maybe what to expect from them.
Okay.
For the scientific groups, I agreed to give them all the star charts they want, and that I would definitely be putting in a strong petition to allow them to have access to our scanning technology.
Okay.
And that I would be putting in a strong petition to my superiors for that.
Okay.
Given what's at stake, they'd probably agree. Whether they actually do is another matter altogether.
Right.
And
Outside your pay grade.
outside my pay grade. And then third, the civilians. What did they want again?
Finding a place to anchor their planet and cultural databases on races in the Federation.
Yeah, we happily agreed to the cultural database, and yeah, I agreed that we would help.
All right.
And you know, I also suggest that the star charts we provide will go a long way to.
All right. So here's what we're going to do, Captain. Your task role to see if you were persuasive enough for everybody is going to be presence and command, difficulty 2.
Alrighty. How much momentum do we have?
I have no
We have
idea.
one moment.
Mind if I spend it?
Not at all.
Because I get my cautious command. And I
Nice.
do have a determination to spend if I have to. So that's my presence command. Roll 3 dice. I have a focus in diplomacy. Are any of my subordinates allowed to assist me, or
If you could tell me how they would assist you in what they did.
I mean, the only one I can really think of would be Liarka.
Finances, negotiation, politics.
Yeah, well, just
You could
because of what actually happened during our negotiations up to this point, just what little he offered on the Ferengi, but that's really all I can think of.
I've got another one, which would be that Lyrica would have been providing like specifics on each of the things because that's how
Yeah.
the Ferengi would function in this negotiation. So he's giving you the specifics of what like the regulations would be and what the what each of those things would entail. You know, he's being like
Yes.
your moving database.
Yep. And he would probably talk also, hey, you want to be close to other species. Well, he doesn't know if they can make more planets. It's like maybe someday you want to expand. Maybe you need a big space to go to.
Because I'm trying to do it in like how you assisted total
Yeah,
in
like,
the
I think
negotiation.
He's trying to figure out based on what we actually did,
Right.
and so far it's just been me. Sorry, guys.
Eh,
Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure. Sullivan's
a lot of
probably
this-
been fidgeting with the medical tricorder, not actually pushing any buttons, but if there's like a flap that opens up and back, she's probably been doing that. And
Yes.
she actually looks like she might be not enjoying herself, but actually managing to keep herself entertained. She's
So,
definitely too afraid to actually talk to people at the moment.
Okay, so I'm okay to just actually roll the 3 dice on my own. I can probably make a difficulty 2 check with everything I've got.
Okay.
Let's hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even have to re-roll anything. Because, I mean, look at my presence and command.
Yep.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
Waha.
It is bullshit. So is my reading people.
All right. So Captain, as you are sitting in front of everybody, you kind of
By the way, we get that momentum back.
yes,
Yeah.
yep, I got it. So you kind of have the two people with you kind of hand out, I don't know, data pads to everybody with all the agreements that were determined in the treaty.
And and of course, you know, I want to take the opportunity to say, of course, I would like to keep diplomatic channels open and the potential for further outreach. And of course, the baseline of stop the fighting.
So as all the Zarkonians are kind of looking through the pads, realizing, the scientific group says, the science group agrees with the terms of this treaty.
And I
Feel-
turn to
Feel free to roleplay any of this.
okay. I'm glad. As our ship is purposed for scientific exploration, we feel a strong kinship with any scientific community. And we strongly suggest that you go forward and learn as much as you can. And and how does the civilian sector feel?
The civilian sector will agree to these terms. And we look forward to working with you in the future, Captain.
That's a relief. And I look to the end, flat face. He says, "And you?" And he, looks at the military person.
We didn't get everything we want, but you helped our people, Captain, and that means something to us. We will sign.
That is a relief to me. That is a relief to all of us, I think. I don't know if I can speak for everyone here, but I like to think that we accomplished something here today. Maybe not something that will forever change the face of the galactic landscape, but I like to think we accomplished something good. So, is there anything to sign? Or is this a verbal agreement?
So yeah, there's probably in full Starfleet diplomatic things. There is an actual piece of paper to sign,
Okay.
and
I like to think that as soon as I sign it, they create a crystal copy of it.
Oh, that's cool. That would be cool.
I think I can oblige that. And in fact, I'll do you one better. It becomes the basis of the meeting table.
Ooh.
So it's copied into the table.
Yes.
That is so cool. Oh.
Well, I suppose that now that we've signed the treaty, would you like us to go back to our ship and be on our way, or is there any further ceremony that you have?
So the naive one turns to you. I think that will conclude it, Captain. Come, I will show you back to the surface.
Understood. Hope to see you all again sometime. And I'm sure, and he motions to Liarka and Sullivan. Said, I'm sure that my fellows would also love an opportunity to learn about a rich culture like this.
Rules of Acquisition 74. Knowledge is profit.
Yes, sir. She sort of snaps out of what she was doing, kind of a bit embarrassed.
If there's anything further we can do, if there's anything further we can do, feel free to reach out. We'll give you all the proper communications procedures to reach out to my superior at Narendra Station. She's probably a better point of contact for long-term diplomatic relations than I am. Of course, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me, of course.
I'm sure we will be contacting you in the future, Captain. Who knows, maybe we might even one day join this federation of yours.
That would be acceptable.
So cool.
So is there anything else you would possibly want to ask the naive one as you are walking out of the cave?
Hint, hint, poke, poke.
I have a question. Have your people always been in this shape?
See, now that's a question. So he turns to you and says, our people learned long ago that the crystal that belongs to this planet allows our conscious to enter and merge with the energy inside the crystals. We were able to connect with this energy and form all of the shapes that you see around you. But until you came, we never learned how to take a form separate from the planet. So you see, we have you to thank for bringing on this new age in our history.
She sort of blushes a bit at that. That sounds. And then she goes, you mentioned you didn't earn name. Does everyone here not have names?
The naive one is what they call me, so I guess that is a good as name as any. It's not like names you have.
I see. So
Do you
names
like being called
change?
that? Is there some?
Throughout our lifetimes, we go through many different name changes. At first, you knew me as the young one. Now I am the naive one. I am hoping that it could change again after bringing this peace treaty.
Is there any name in particular that you're looking for?
Names are not for me to decide. They are decided by our elders.
But if you could have a choice,
I suppose the enlightened one would be nice.
Oh, that's pretty.
after all, I think that's what a lot of us are searching for out here. And I assume we get it back up to the surface.
If you have nothing else to ask, yes.
Actually, sometimes, even though they aren't members of the Federation, different species are allowed to join what we are part of, called Starfleet. Do you know if anyone would like to join us, leave Zalcore and join and become and be with us, we would be happy to have you.
I'm sure one day our people will be ready for that.
Harmon turns to Ensign Sullivan and says, "We got a lot accomplished here today, Ensign. Let's not rush it."
Yes, Captain.
Well, this has been a pleasure. I'd say it went much better than I ever could have hoped. We got a second chance here today, and we certainly didn't waste it.
I wish you well on your journeys, Captain.
I have so many questions, but I'm not there.
Well, I think it was naive one, right? Yeah.
That is correct.
Well, naive one. Planet is beautiful. Hopefully, we'll return to it someday. And see what else you've picked up from the new species you come into contact with. I can't wait to see what your species comes up with for itself. Because the most beautiful thing about any culture is that which it creates for itself. Its history, people, all the little details that make it special and make it unique. I can't wait to see what your species comes up with for itself. Zarkonians. The Zarkonian culture.
That definitely has a nice sound to it.
Captain Grennan to Kismet.
Kismet here, sir.
He looks down at the paper copy in his hands and he says, "We're done here. 3 to beam up."
Understood. Chief, beam him up.
And the captain is beamed onto the ship.
Just the captain.
Leave everyone else.
Okay, the away team is beamed up to the ship. Sorry.
Okay, I was about to say, me and Karen's looking at each other going, "You forgot us."
I like it's just there's just a split second delay. Like the captain starts beaming up, and they go, "What?" And then they start beaming up. Okay.
Alrighty. So, I'm gonna head up to the bridge. So, do either Liarka or Sullivan have anything specific they want to do before I head up?
To the bridge? No. Sullivan is gonna wait till off duty and then head to the holodeck. She has a specific sort of calming down from a stressful mission program she runs. It's a very sort of it's sort of like a sensory deprivation tank,
Okay.
but instead of feeling nothing, there's sort of like it's basically she's getting a bit just sort of like if you've ever been under a weighted blanket, it's sort of like that, only she's kind of wrapped in one.
Okay, so we'll do that after I do this thing with the bridge.
Okay.
So,
Well, that just happens. I don't think we have to explore that too much.
yeah. Well, if I end up having a scene with Sullivan, though, if anyone wants to have a scene with her, that's where that would be.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna head up to the bridge. I get up on the bridge. I assume someone says "Captain on the bridge."
Just before the doors open.
Hmm. So he walks over to Varro. And he says, "I'll be waiting your report on exactly what happened with the Ferengi ship. Things are never as simple as just, oh, we solved the problem easily." But he holds out the sheet of paper and says, "This is what we've got."
Cork and I have and I say, "Congratulations, Captain. It's a big step."
Yeah, it is. I do have to make a call to Admiral Hebert, though. I did promise that I would make a request for scanning technology.
Var was silent for a moment. Yes, sir.
There was a lot to that diplomatic meeting. There was a lot of nuance. There were some people who wanted a lot more than that. Getting them to agree to the scanning to a scanning technology inquiry was about as best as I could have hoped under the circumstances.
I'm sure.
The Zarkonians are entering a new time for their people, a new era. An era that needs diplomacy. And as such, their diplomacy is about as ragged as the crystal that makes up their planet. But they're
Indeed.
learning.
Diplomacy is one of the finer arts.
Yeah, in fact, as the meeting went on, I could see them improving.
Certainly a remarkable capacity for adaptation.
Of course. But the thing that impresses me the most about them is their potential. I can't wait to see what makes them truly unique.
Varro just nods.
Lieutenant? Or, I'm sorry, what is, no, yeah, Lieutenant? Take us out.
Aye, Captain.
And I think that would be a good place to end the price of peace.